Okay, so new rant format. I'm going to divide my ideas into sections for your pleasure. So you can skip ahead to the section that you're most interested in, and you can just listen from there, and then you can skip back and do whatever you want. And we are currently in the introduction. So I thought that it'd be nice to introduce as well what I know Elden Ring as, because I feel like in these Souls-like games, your experience and how you understand the world and how you've decided to, like, I guess, perceive it subconsciously or consciously affects a lot on whether you like the game or you dislike the game, or if you like a certain aspect or if you dislike another aspect. It's a lot of subjective stuff, so I thought I'd just make it clear this is where I'm coming from. So, the Elden Ring world, universe, existence, even, as I perceive it, is as a real life world. And it is currently in the medieval, like Middle Ages part of its fantasy universe, but it's structured as a real world. There is a reason that I've seen like archaeology majors and people that study archaeology be very interested in the lore of Elden Ring, and it's because the way it's built is you can go to castles, you can see ruins and stuff like that, which is plenty in the game, and it's like a real life world. The ruins don't just tell you; there might be written words every now and then for messages, but apart from that, the only really real way that you can learn about how the world and the lore is through very little dialogue and a lot of item descriptions. I feel like the item descriptions and the mentality of a lot of the characters inside of the story are like what makes you understand and be able to really like put yourself inside of the story. For example, you don't really know anything, but then the characters are like, "Yeah, and I'm gonna do the Radon Festival," like it's the most normal thing because it is normal to them. So they assume you also know. And like the Radon Festival, everybody knows it's the festival where we go and kill this guy. And since it's based in real life, I think it's really funny that FromSoft decided to focus on this medieval aspect of the royalty, which are the demigods. Um, there's a lot of incest, like a copious amount of incest in this world. And I guess that's because we're in the medieval times and it's like accurate. But the way it works is that the royalty are essentially connected to godhood. And it all started when the Three Fingers, which is the essentially like the capital G god, basically was like everything. He was everything. And then he got split somehow. And now we have the Two Fingers, we have the Greater Will, we have the Rot, outer god, we have all the other everything. Everything basically broke down from the Three Fingers, which is the Frenzied Flame ending, because everyone, the frenzied people, want to burn down everything back into being the Three Fingers, the like original base, by burning everything down. The Two Fingers, they basically are like just colonizers, and they go to lands and they spread their like, I guess they just want to be adored by the people. So that's what they do. They go to planets and they do that. The first person, the first thing to really be, I guess, the first like god to really become a god of the greater will would be Placidusax, which was the like, what's it called? The what's their name? I mean, like dragon, dragonkin. I'll put the name of their species on screen right now. But yeah, that's essentially who were the first ones before humans. And then according to this DLC, what we've learned is that before we humans also got really popular, the horn scent were the ones that dominated, and actually were the ones that had us in camps and mistreated and horribly like persecuted, to put into jars and like put our meat like all over jars, and like it was horrible. uh so yeah, there was the beastmen, I think it's beastmen, then the horn scent, and then the humans. And then the humans, one, well, humans, I say humans, they look human-ish. Um, we got Marika. Marika is the main focus of Elden Ring. She is the main reason why everything is as it is as we see it. And it's because she ascended to godhood and established the Golden Order. And what does this mean? It's mean, oh, it's just like medieval kingdom with the Golden Order, which is basically we hate everything that is outside of the, like, doesn't really feel like the Golden Order. This means, like, for example, the Golden Order is based around this tree, and the tree is like, well, if it's a tree, you don't want fire, and if like the life that comes with this tree is in complete opposite of life that was before, which means that if you have a lot of horns, like the horn scent, um, we hate you. We hate you, and we kill you and cut your horns and everything, which makes sense due to how America, as we learn in the DLC, was actually one of the was probably persecuted by the horn scent, and like a lot of her family and her village was turned into jars, which is basically death. And she probably hates the horn scent because of that, which is funny because when it comes to Marika having children with Godfrey, she has to Omen, which is the name of the horn, specifically the type of horn scent that she birthed, called Moog and Morgot. Really funny. Or Margit? I don't know. I don't know which one is like. I think it's Morgot. He has multiple names. And then she also beefs with a bunch of other people because medieval, obviously, there's conflict. But the part that I want to focus on is how she birthed three three of her children, which are the main characters of this story, which is Mikola, Radon, and Moog. Yeah, that's I was thinking. Like those are the main focus. Basically, Mikola was the good child. They're very like gender fluid, I think, wanted to make like the world a gentler place because between all the like discrimination, racism, and murder and hanging people while they're still alive, the whole just suffering forever and ever, and just like so much like battle and warfare. Mikola was like, I don't really like this place. So Mikola wanted to make the world a gentler place by also achieving godhood and essentially taking Marika's place. But to do this, they needed a consort. And who did they choose? This is super spoilers, by the way, for the DLC. They decided to choose Radon because Radon was a super loyal Golden Order general. General Radon is his name. But at the same time, he was known for having his gentle side. He was really good with his troops. He had a horse called Leonard, which he learned specifically gravity magic, which is really hard to learn, just so he could ride the horse without putting any pressure on it. So he would like hold himself up with his own gravity magic, so it would put zero stress on Leonard, the horse. And that Mikola was like, wow, that's really wholesome. So they made a vow to be consorts. But Radon, I don't think really was into this idea. A lot of people are saying that he actually didn't consent to this vow or whatever, which I mean I'm not too sure, and we'll probably learn later on. But the problem is the vow wasn't really upheld because of the shattering, which is the event when one of the bastard children of America called Ronnie basically stole death, which is what America was like safeguarding from everyone, which is why I said before about like infinite pain and infinite suffering, because Ronnie wanted to continue her destiny through the stars. She was from a clan that believes that the stars like guide their future, and it's like it's metaphorical, you know, like oh we're focused in the stars, so the stars dictate our future. But then in a very literal way, because like the stars literally like precede their future. Like they literally depend on the stars moving and the moon moving for them to be able to continue their destiny. Um, Radon was actually stopping the stars from moving onwards, which is a cool detail. But yeah, we kill Radon in the game, and then uh, we're like, okay, well, let's go find Mikola because we've heard a bit of them. No, and we never find Mikola, but we actually learned that Mikola was kidnapped by Moog, which is who I mentioned before as an important demigod. Now, Moog was an omen, as I said, which means that he had it pretty rough. Unlike his brother Morgoth or Margit, he didn't really like the Golden Order, and he went into hiding. He put a clone himself in the like sewage system, so people thought he was still there. But he left. He left, and not only that, he was like he built his own dynasty, his own kingdom, like his own order. To do that, though, he still needed a consort. So Moog chose, obviously. Well, actually, we don't know if Moog chose Mikola. We there's a problem of the lore there that I'm not too sure. That maybe one of you guys can tell me in the comments. It's whether Moog kidnapping Mikola from the Halleck tree was planned by Mikola, or if that was just Mikola being like, "Oh wait, if you do this, I can take advantage of this," and then Mikola took advantage of Moog dying, and took advantage of Moog straight up to access the Shadow of the Erd Tree, which is this realm that America hid from us because she was ashamed, because she was like, holy crap, I just killed so many people. That was like, wow. Uh, but I don't know if Moog going to find Mikola was planned by Mikola. Hmm. No, well, Melania says that she awaits Mikola's return, which means that honestly, Moog might have just been charmed from the start, and Mikola charmed him like immediately, and that's why he brought them into the Moog dynasty, even though Mog thought he was doing what's best for his dynasty. He was actually just being charmed by Mikola, because that's what Mikola does. They charm people, they're like really gentle and they charm people. Also said to look eternally youthful, which a lot of people have taken, and like according to some of the statues that we see in game, makes them look a bit like a child. So a lot of people, and me included, have been joking about Moog being the Mog Lester. And if you don't get that joke, I don't think you really need to. It's not that funny, anyways. But yeah, that was the main joke for a long time, because Moog kidnapped the youthful Mikola, put him in a cocoon, and slept in the cocoon with his sibling, which is incest. And now, thanks to the DLC, we can also go into the cocoon, into the DLC, and we find out that, yeah, America was felt really bad, but also that America was persecuted at some point, and etc. etc. And Mikola upholds wants Radon to uphold his vow so that they can be married and ascend to godhood and make the world a gentler place. Which a lot of people are like, I want to have a choice, but Mikola doesn't give you a choice. But I don't know if that's bad or good, honestly, because I mean, the world's looking rough anyways, and I don't think we would really do better. But not too sure. That's up to you. What I will say is that we do not get an ending because of this. Like, all of this is happening, and we do not get a special ending due to the DLC where we like let Mikola take reign of the world and we see how a gentler place could have or would have happened. No, we kill Mikola and that's it. Back to the main game, back to do whatever you want, which is very disappointing, but I'll talk about that later. All right. I feel like that's enough introduction. Let's start with the actual review of the DLC. Firstly, let's start with something that I didn't like at all. Map progression. Don't get me wrong, the game is beautiful, but the path to explore is probably why I'll die 10 years younger than I should have. That's a little bit exaggerated. I wrote this while the wound of like some of the map progression decisions was still fresh on my on me. What I mean by map progression is how you're supposed to like go to find the map fragments and to explore and see the map around you. Uh, I'm new to the Soulsborne genre, so I might come off as ignorant, but I defy that logic because bad design is bad design. What I mean by this is that the From Software like classic move is to like have a lot of hidden detail. Like they have one of the coolest areas hidden behind a bunch of hidden walls and whatever and whatever. But in the DLC, I feel like it's ramped up to a unfun, unfair degree. And what I mean by this is like half of the areas or like the map to be able to see the map are completely like hidden in such an annoying way. For example, one of the areas that you get to is really high up and you can't see the map fragment and it's like right near you. So you would assume the map fragment is up there with you in the ruins. But no, it's actually at the bottom and you need to start from a whole other different area, walk under a bunch of caves, and then you get there, which I didn't find out until like half an hour of jumping off cliffs and like trying my hardest to get close to where the map said the map fragment was, but to no avail. And then the Abyssal Woods. Holy shit. Oh, that was so painful. The Abyssal Woods is a really cool area that actually forces you off your horse, which is a first time for Elden Ring for a like entire area. Except I guess the God damn it, dude. Wait, let me open up Crumbling Azula. Farum Azula. Farum Azula. Yeah. Like it's a whole area that like you open area that you can't use your horse, which is special to this game. But as I was saying, it's like to get there you have to go down this ladder, which I'll show right now on screen. It's so stupid. Like whoever designed and chose, oh yeah, we want our players to go like this is so dumb. Because why? It's so hidden. And then you have to go through like a bunch of like hidden walls and then you got to keep going down and okay. And now one other thing for the map progression. Uh there's this part to get to like where we learned that Marika was also chased and persecuted by the Hornsent, and it's why she hates the people with horns so much. And to get there, you need to grab an emote from another village, which is vaguely related to the priest, which we learn is what America's tribe was like. And it's like this emote that says "Oh mother," and you're like, okay, what the fuck? Okay, cool emote, I guess. It's just a random emote to show how these guys were suffering. No, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go to a goddamn statue out of the fucking bumfuck nowhere and use it, and the statue moves, and you can enter the place. Like, what is this shit? That's not no. No, and the only hint you get is the message on the side that's like, have pity for the priestess. This is so sad. And it's like, what? No. Alright. That's one of my main complaints as well. It's just the map progression of how you're supposed to explore the areas that I guess aren't like directly needed. Like you don't really need to go there, but like it's really big important areas that you should be able to access, not having to go through invisible walls and like from a random area, or even like from what I was saying before, the ruins. Like it should be, there should be multiple, there should be a map fragment above, not one just at the bottom of the valley and like baiting you. Like it's so dumb. But as I was saying, oh my god, the shaded castle. No, not the shaded castle. The, what's it called? The Shadow Keep. Oh my god, the Shadow Keep. When you get to the middle of the tower and you're at the storehouse area, that's so, there's a ladder that's so clearly easy to reach if you parkour right, and it's blocked off by an invisible wall. And I was streaming and I was trying my hardest to get there because it looked like that's what you needed to do to go to another area. And no, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go outside, leave the Shadow Keep completely, and then come in through a side entrance to go back in to go up that ladder, which is stupid. God, I forgot about the Shadow Keep. I didn't even have that on my script. Um, anyways, now something good. The difficulty. I beat most of the DLC with weak potions. Like my flasks weren't really upgraded, but I did use Mimic Tier, so like I guess weigh that as you will. At first, I was using Maria's Executioner, which has the drill attack, which is really good. But then I was mostly also using like the dual axe with electric like power with a cool Lash of War where you like spin forwards. I really like that one, and I used it a lot. I upgraded it and everything. And then for all of the like dragon and whenever I was like really struggling, I would switch to the dragon great katana, the dragon scale great katana, I think it's called, and it was so strong because it has a projectile and it's like really good. Uh, and then what else did I use? Oh yeah, right at the beginning, if you look behind you upwards, there's a guy like that's just on the side of the cliff dead. And if you pick up their armor, they also give you these like claw things that are super super strong. And I actually used that to kill the final boss. But I'll talk about. I'm going to tell you right now actually. What the bosses that I struggled the most with were. But before that, apparently some people are dropping Elden Ring scores on reviews due to the difficulty being too high, which I think is funny, but is also in their right. It's kind of dumb, but if they couldn't find a way forwards, I wouldn't really blame them. Not everyone wants to explore as badly as I did and find videos to explore the map, because that's literally what I had to do to find the side areas. God, it's such a shame that such a like important part was messed up, because I'm telling you, if the DLC was easier to navigate and was like more like it was more satisfactory, like it gave you more satisfaction to explore it, people would have found more Skadoo tree fragments and would have had an easier time with the DLC. But nope, they hid away a bunch of the shit through dumb exits and dumb pathways and dumb hidden walls and hidden fucking ladders. So that's why people were like, this game is too hard, because they were under leveled. Anyways, the main points of enragement or like hard moments with bosses were for me the first dancing lion that you fight, because I was just, that was the first boss I went to and I beat. I was just struggling for a very long time. And then Rilana kicked my ass because I don't know. I suck, I guess. I've seen a lot of people doing parry techniques. I wasn't doing parry techniques. And the weapon I was using, the dual axes, whenever I wanted to like do damage because I'm really greedy, I would like trade. And you can't really trade with a boss if you don't do that much damage. Then there was the sunflower, the Michelin like sunflower thing that kept on reviving. God, that thing kicked me in the ass so bad. The Skidoo Tree Avatar, yeah. The Skidoo Tree Avatar, its gimmick is that you kill it and it comes back, which is so cool. What a wow. I mean, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, I could get it. It's like a plant boss that keeps coming back, but God damn, was it so annoying. Like the movements it was doing felt so like obnoxious. And it had this one like ranged move that would like throw spines at you. It pissed me off so bad. And then finally, which is pretty funny because I mean like these are only 3 boss and there's a lot more. Um there's a lot of more bosses a lot of people were complaining about. For example, I know a lot of people were griping about Commander Gaius, which is the guy with the, he's a hog rider essentially from like Clash of Clans. A lot of people were complaining that his hitboxes were too big. I didn't do, I mean, I beat him in like half an hour, like less than half an hour, like 25 or 26 minutes. I didn't struggle that much with him, but I don't know, maybe I just got lucky. Next, funnily enough, the next boss that I struggled after the sunflower was actually just straight up the final boss, which final warning for spoilers. I'm going to talk about the final boss now for a bit. It was Radahn, the Promised Consort. Radahn makes a double appearance and is forced to keep up his vow with Mikla to get married so they can ascend to godhood. And we fight them, both of them. And it's a really cool fight because we get to fight Radahn in his prime. When we fight Radahn in the main game, he's all like weakened and like suffering. In this one, we get to fight him at his prime. But I don't know if he's really fighting at his prime because, I mean, it took me, I want to say 5 hours or 4 hours to beat him. And honestly, it didn't feel like I was fighting the most powerful thing in the universe. Like, I feel like the Elden Beast or Radagon or even still, what's her name? Melania had more of a like, oh, this is like the cream of the top. These are the most powerful people and more skillful, and because they're like they know how to fight the best. Elden Beast because he's literally like the representation of an outer god, right? But Radagon because it's like, oh, he's the god. He's like Marika. He's the one that created everything around us. But I guess, I mean, I don't know. Mikola was there, and Mikola felt certainly like they were just piggy riding on Radahn and gave him a lot of holy power. But I don't know. It, you know what it is? I think the Radahn Promised Concert needed a third phase to really feel like it was the God of Gods. But I guess maybe they'll do that with Godwyn, or whatever his name is, the one that lives in death in the next DLC. Because I don't know, it just felt like I was just beating up a child, a like very very devious child, and his older brother while they were having an incestuous relationship, which is forced because a lot of there's a lot of evidence to prove that Radon really didn't want that relationship. But I mean, Radon just wanted to kill people. Radon just wanted to fight people. Like he was just obsessed with battle. So I don't know. It's a whole other discussion to have. But that's one of the good things. I think it was very good difficult wise because I mean, for me to have a lot of problems with only four bosses and like really be frustrated by one of them, which was the sunflower bitch. Rolanda also beat my ass, but I mean that's just because I suck, and I understand that I suck. But the sunflower one, that's the only one that I was like, oh my god, so they gotta nerf their like ranged attack because god, so painful, and it kept on bleeding me as well. It was so annoying. I didn't even like. That was like less half of an hour, but it felt like it was went on longer for than the Radon promised concert fight. Whatever. God, this is such a rant video. I'm not making like a lot of sense, I think. Hey, well, negative point now. I was very disappointed with the overall with the dungeons and caves and mausoleums. There was highs, there was lows, but they really did just repeat a bunch of gimmicks over and over with the occasional random special things to distract you and inject some originality. They overuse the fact that they made some new like small enemy that like in he usually they usually bleed you, but in the DLC they have a big mouth and they like shoot you, and that's their gimmick. And they really really go into that, and it's like, okay, we get it. Cool. They now like spit fire now, and also there's these mages that shoot like bouncy and projectiles, very cool. And it's like it gets old very fast. And not only that, they make these spike ceilings that come down and hit you, and then they overuse it so much. And what I mean by like the random special thing is that in some random ass dungeon at the very top, they start introducing these like freaky eyes that make you infected with death blight if you look at them, and it kills you in one shot, which is like, wow. I mean, I guess that's special, but it's not really like a gimmick that really makes the dungeons feel good. And then I want to address the fire dungeons, which is basically these dungeons where it's like, oh, it's like where their smithers were. They were crafting weapons with fire and hammers. And apparently, horrible game design because these are probably the definition of disappointments, and why Elden Ring is not known for its minor like dungeons, because they are so mid and sometimes even disappointing. Like they do some good, but a lot of them are very disappointing. And it's not like I really cared about them. I I just it's the potential that was like failed to be used, because they have these big pipes in the fire dungeons that could be like, oh, you lift them, whatever, that's fine, you can reuse that all you want, but like give me a boss, don't make me just stick my hand in a furnace and then I get a legendary weapon for no reason. It's like these dungeons can be done in like less than 5 minutes, and I could just get a legendary weapon. No, it doesn't feel engaging. The mausoleums have cool characters. Oh yeah, the mausoleums. Oh yeah, the NPCs. Yeah. Oh my god. The mausoleums are these nameless. The nameless mausoleums are these like NPCs where basically the game developers were like, how do we give our players more armor sets and more weapons? And they're like, Let's just stick them on a NPC character and put them in a small mausoleum scattered about. And like, yeah, it's cool. We get a bunch of cool weapons, but From Software doesn't really do well like PvP fights. The AI is just not fun. I'd rather fight like a choreographed fight character boss that has moves and uses moves and isn't like, oh, he's literally me. He presses R1 and then he presses R2. Like, no, that I don't really like those fights. Uh oh wow, I really go into, oh wow, I was not happy when I wrote this. I wrote the Mozzie have cool characters, but the fact they're human characters is lazy game design that can oh so easily be cheesed by any build. It's crazy. Wow, I was I was so angry when I wrote this. The stone dungeons had their charm at first. Yeah, that's what I said before about the spike ceilings. Okay, now something nice. The weapons are so cool, and I felt sufficiently incentivized to use them, even though I had to grind a bit and kill some Albinarics with the Golden Order sword to buy the smithing stone. They remind me of some modded ones I've seen that put a big focus on movement as well as damage. I will be doing run throughs with DLC weapons only when I eventually grind my way to New Game 100. List down here weapons you like, Cora, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was supposed to put weapons there, but I did not because I'm too lazy to do that. Just know that a lot of the weapons, like even the ones in the fire dungeons that I was dissing on later, before, have such cool concepts. It's like, for example, there's a hammer that I'm very interested in. Is you have a hammer and then your charged heavy attack is you literally throwing the hammer into the enemies. It disappears like in the air after like 2 seconds, but that's fine. Whatever. It's a little bit sad that it doesn't have as much range as it makes you think it does, but that's whatever. It's really cool, and I'm probably gonna beat like the entire game using the Smith script, weapons like that at some point. So yeah, huge W on the weapons. Like the great katanas have amazing moveset, really cool. The great sword, the meteorite great sword, whatever, that one legendary weapon that you get by getting in the oven, very cool. Uh, the pata, the fist weapon, really cool. That's the one I used to kill Radon. I really like that one because it's also like perfect to using status, bleed, or just like putting on what's it called, like the stone thing, so like it does more posture damage, and I that's how I beat Radon, and it was really cool. All right, back to negative. This is a weaker point, but sometimes the map feels a bit empty. The artistic direction is beautiful and has some areas that compete for my favorite, even when compared to like Bloodborne. But there's an inherent lack of no way they added this here. The base game had. What do I mean by this? In Limgrave, sorry, in the base game, you go down this one elevator in the middle of a fucking forest, for example, and you're like, oh, okay, this is bringing me to, I guess, like a small legacy dungeon. And then you get essentially enough content for a game that could cost like 60 euros or like 40 euros. Like the whole underground area could cost like 40 euros or like 60. And I would be okay with it. Like the whole deep root depths and Siofra River and Angel River, like all of those areas, like already huge expansions already would be for like for a game. And they just gave it to us. Like it's a whole other game. It's amazing. And the DLC doesn't feel like it has that. The only real moment I felt something similar to that was when we were going down to St. Trina. That was like the only moment I was like, "Oh, it keeps going. Oh, it keeps going." The rise to the Bale the Dread. I'm looking at the map right now. I'm looking at the path right now. It's so empty. It's just a bunch of spirit springs, red Fergal broom, ancient dragon smithing stone, and then like 2 dragons, and that's it. There's nothing on the way there. And then right underneath, there's the fingerprint area with a hanging bell. There's nothing there. I don't know. And then if you go up as well, there's like a whole area that's just empty. And then even then, there's like this Skadutri chalice. The priest area is also pretty empty. There's another finger ruins that it also feels like there should be so much more content there that there isn't. It feels sometimes a bit empty, but it's not like I can't really give you concrete evidence apart from that. Like I can't really tell you what moments made me feel like, oh, there's something lacking here, or like if it's really fair to say that because there's already so much other content to do. But it does feel like a step down from the base game. All right. Oh yeah, this is a really good point I made here on my script. Thinking back on it, it kind of reminds me of the consecrated snowfields. It has content outside of their boss fights, but not as much as the game has come to make you expect. That's a good point. All right. I think what is this? It doesn't say if it's bad or wrong, but whatever. I think it is notable how well the story progresses the lore of Elden Ring. This is a DLC slash follow up we wanted on a completely like standard level. We wanted to fight Prime Radahn, which we did. We wanted to meet Miquella, and we wanted more difficulty, which essentially the DLC is all of that. And we even got to learn more about how the fingers work, flawed vessels of the greater will which used to be human, if I'm not wrong and dumb. But yeah. Now, one small other thing that bothered me is that we didn't get an ending. I wanted an ending for the DLC that follows Miquella's route, because they talk about a 1,000-year-old voyage of compassion or gentleness, I don't know. And it's during their grab attack, and I think it's really cool. I think it's like, whoa, okay, well, this is a character that has gone off the deep end and is doing a bit of the ends justify the means. But I would like to see how they like do their world, and I'm shocked that they didn't let us. Like there's no ending, there's no like, oh, I want to help Miquella. It's just, oh, we on site we kill Miquella. On site. And it's like, I don't what? We get to make it into context. I was watching this streamer who had like 49 subscribers, and he literally beat Radahn, and he said, wait a second, we don't get an ending for Miquella, but we get an ending for the Dung Eater? And when he said that, it hit me like a train. Like, why the hell do we not have an ending for Miquella? I don't know. It makes sense narratively as well. I don't want to see that in the comments, or like if like Miyazaki has no excuse there. Like there, from a narrative point, there should be an option to just step back and be like, yeah, Miquella, I wanna be in your 1,000-year-old voyage of compassion and charm. I don't care if you brainwash me. I wanna follow through. Like it should be an option. I don't know why. Whatever. Like it could have been just a simple cutscene as well of like Radahn and Miquella and a bunch of Hornsent, Tarnished, and all other creatures kneeled to our gender fluid god sitting on a throne, and we're like, yes, Miquella, we will do whatever you want and be nice to each other and be gentle. Like that could have been enough, but no. If spoilers again, when you beat Radahn, you get to see a memory of Miquella, which is so dumb. It's literally just a small zoom, a slow zoom on Miquella sitting on the floor, being like, oh, Radahn, our vow, I shall keep it, you shall keep it, we shall keep our vow to be, and you will be my promised consort, which we knew already. We knew already that. Like, you're just repeating what we already knew. No shit, Radahn is your promised consort. We literally fight him, and his title is your promised consort. Wow, that got me more heated than I thought. So now, new like little area sector on the video, I'd like to give my final judgment on this DLC. I'm gonna judge it out of 10, and the number I give it out of 10 is 7.5. And my basic reasoning is it does too good to deserve anything under a 7, but it has too many flaws and takes too many risks which do not pay off on game design that to be a 9 or a 10, which is very against what a lot of people I've seen say, because a lot of people are either game sucks, I hate this game, it is too hard, and also the frame data on my PC lags when I play it, so it deserves a 2, or people are like, oh my god, everyone's complaining and this is literally the best gaming in all time. Oh my god, skill issue. You must be new here around here. Us From Software Souls-like gamers are very used to this. It's a skill issue, in my opinion. It's like, nah. I know. I'm at a 7.5 out of 10. And then I wrote extra chapter and I didn't write anything after. So I don't know what I was supposed to say after this. Well, that's it. Oh god, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze, but I'm not gonna sneeze. How long has this been? 46 minutes? Oh god. Okay. See y'all. I will probably be in the comments fighting for my life or just high-fiving people that have the same opinion as me. This has been a Kuro27 rant. Subscribe. Share this with your friends and family. Not because I want you to do that, but because I think all YouTubers say that. And I'll see you in the next one.